Hi everyone. I hope you had a good weekend. Little change of venue today. It's not really hot or really humid out yet, so I thought I would capture some of the morning temperatures before the heat of the day. So pardon if there are some traffic noises or bird noises that are in the background. This week I wanted to take something that most of us experience for work and flip it a little bit to see how we might utilize it outside of work. Lately I've been feeling a little stuck in a rut. No surprise, right? So much of what we do and how we do it has been completely altered. Um, and I'm guessing that I'm not the only one who might be feeling this way. So it's the time of year when many of us are engaged in the annual review process, utilizing what UA calls career conversations. A thankfully simplified way for us to have a dialogue with our supervisors around the previous year's work and the ways in which we want to approach the upcoming year. Personally, I love this model so much more than trying to determine if I'm a 3 or a 4 on a 5 point scale. And as I was looking at the document last week, I was wondering what it might be like to have a life conversation with myself using the same framework. Maybe that might help me get unstuck in some areas and feel more of a sense of direction. The first section, acknowledging achievements or acknowledging accomplishments. How often do we actually sit down and recognize ourselves for the accomplishments in our personal lives? Not necessarily big, earth shaking accomplishments necessarily, but what would you list as your points of pride in your personal life if you were evaluating your last year? Personally, I'm very proud of some of the races I completed, but I'd also list here that I've made exceptional progress cleaning out and organizing our garage, a space that has been a disaster for, I don't know, 10 years. The second section, highlighting key strengths. I know it might sound silly to think about this in our personal lives, or maybe not. Life, as we have all become very aware, is full of challenges. What has helped me rise to those challenges? I'd say that one of the strengths I have that has allowed me to cope is humor. I can usually find something to laugh at, some way to lighten the mood, but also know when it's not appropriate or not going to be welcome. I have a very strategic way of looking at things. Work smarter, not harder, is one of the lessons my mother taught me from a very young age. And that's helped me in my running and training, but also in the way I have balanced working from home with home life. Setting goals. That's the next section. It's just a little trickier given how uncertain the future is. So there's two ways for me to think about this, and I often blend the two. One, focus on goals where I have a greater amount of control. Or two, make goals with flexibility in mind. I have some goals for the next year for sure. I would like to participate in and finish my first 100-mile race, which was supposed to be this October, but I've had to adjust my thinking on that one. But some less grandiose goals for me include finishing the organization of the garage so it becomes a more usable space. And this might sound a little silly to some people, but I would like to learn how to make full puff pastry. Those of you who watch the Great British Baking Show will understand. The last section is one of my favorites. What do I want to do more, do less, start, stop, or change? Here, for me, it's important to focus on the phrase want to rather than should. Should can be a troublesome word sometimes. So for me, I want to do more cross training, get back into a schedule with my strength training and add some yoga so that I can become a better and safer runner. I would like to read more for fun. This is something that was sparked by my rereading of High Tide in Tucson, to which I alluded last week. And I'd like to do less in terms of putting expectations on myself. I tend to have this idea that since I am working from home, I should somehow be able to keep our house looking, Martha Stewart ready, which is really not a very good expectation to have of myself. For me, this has been a great exercise. It's allowed me to see that I've actually accomplished things in the last year, which is helpful on days when maybe it feels like I haven't. It's given me some goals to work towards. I'm hoping to master that puff pastry once we're past the heat of the summer, so like February maybe. Um, It's forced me to think about my strengths that I bring to my life more holistically, not just what I bring to my paid work. And it's given me permission to think about things that I can actually take off my plate. So give it a try this week. Get that form out and have a little life conversation with yourself. You might be amazed by what comes of it. Have a great week, everyone.